Welcome fans of the GBA Season 7 Week 9 Team Builder here with... Fucking piece of shit Chinese everyone's favorite masked hero. Your favorite. I already said that, but I'm gonna keep going with it. BattlerX. Now I could spend the next 6 minutes explaining the team I'm bringing against Lord Emvee this week, or I can read you an excerpt out of Eminem's book, The Way I Am. I'm gonna do that instead. I gotta point out though, there are a lot of photos of Mr. Slim Shady flipping the bird. I don't know if he was a Blue Jays fan, perhaps an Orioles baseball fan, but a man has a fascination with flipping off cameras, and I don't know how he does it. But we're going to read an excerpt today called Anger Management from Chapter 6 of Eminem's book, The Way I Am. Let's begin. I've always had issues with my temper. I can't relate. When I look back at myself during those years when everything was blowing up, I think maybe at first I was a little, too aggressive and loud. It was like I had this voice and I had to be heard. Don't fuck with me, to the point where people must have been wondering, why is this dude so angry? Is he on crack? Is he on meth? Is he on fucking crystal meth? I go back and see old interviews, and even now I wonder, why was I so hyper? I went through a phase back then when I was fucking shooting pistols in the air behind the studio and, pulling guns on motherfuckers. Pointing a pistol in someone's face, not even realizing that I could have gone to jail for that shit. Well, I'm glad you wised up. Oh, show a picture to the class. Look at that. That is fucking... Look at that. Look at that. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about right there. It's aggressive. Oh, more photos of him flipping off the camera. Back then, I was living on a main road, Hayes Street, and random people used to come and knock on my door all the time. The first album had gone 4 times platinum. I finally had some money. I remember thinking, I have a house I can park in the back. It was the first time in my life I'd had a real home I could call my own, and nobody was going to be able to throw me out. Oh, that's I feel that, Slim. I feel that. I got my own home that no one can throw me out of. Except, when I don't take the trash out for 4 weeks in a row, then you know how the woman gets. She's like, get out of here, I'm gonna, castrate you, and all the general hootenanny and hilarious zany antics that we have. Directly across the street, there was a fucking trailer park. Wouldn't you know it? Sometimes kids would sit and wait for me to come out. Other times, they didn't even bother to wait. They would just come and bang on the door. The doorbell kept ringing. I was starting to lose it. As soon as I would open the front door, the camera flashes would go off. Dude, I feel that. I can't even go to the grocery store and get myself a papaya without paparazzi all over me and my papayas. It's crazy. It really is. Oh, read that already. They would start clapping. I was losing my mind. I got up in one kid's face with a pistol. Unloaded, but still. Was that the right thing to do? Hell no. My temper was out of control, son. I added this on at the end. Thank God I was in enough control not to do something tragic. I had to move out of there before I wound up hurting somebody. Well, that's very mature of you, Mr. Shady. The very first pistol I ever owned, I bought legally. I mean, I didn't have the CCW, but the gun was licensed. This little piece of steel would get me in a gang of trouble, like the parking lot incident that went down. You heard the deal. It was me, the gun, and some dude with Kim in a parking lot with cars and people in it. This is getting intense. Oh, shit. Hey! Y'all have to recognize that I'm a man with a plan. True, they're not always the best laid out plans, but there's some thought that goes into my moves. So I saw an episode of Cops that was based in Michigan, right? The episode said that in the state of Michigan, you can get a mandatory year for each bullet if you don't have a concealed weapon license. My idiotic logic at the time was never to have more than 3 bullets in my gun. That way, if I got caught, I figured I would only do 3 years. Eventually, I did go and apply for a CCW. When the board asked me why I needed a gun, I said, well, I've already sold 3 million records. Finally, they approved me. all I had to do was take a safety course, which I started but never completed. Anyway, that's why I blame it all on cops. So I went down to the parking lot with a gun or no bullets. Guns are bad, I tell you. The whole thing ended with me being accused of pistol whipping a man who was kissing my wife. The thing was, that same weekend, I had a little scuffle with a guy who was working for some old enemies, the Detroit-based Insane Clown Posse. Lethal J, you sneaky motherfucker. I added that part. That shit was not helping my cause, especially since there was a gun involved there too. I caught three, count them, 3 felony charges in one weekend. If I had a nickel. Oh. And I was completely sober. No pills, just passion. Millions of people can relate to that crime of passion shit.